The first year I started with him, it was 5,000 a month. After negotiating for raises and stuff, it was 9,100. Like just crossed 100 million views across like all the videos I've edited. I just said like right off the bat, like, yeah, it's gonna be 3,000 a video, and he seemed fine with that.
That's crazy. If you're editing for decent clients but still feel not good enough to charge over $1,000, this story will mess with your head. Andrew was already at $5,000 a month, but he still felt replaceable and didn't trust his music decisions. Then he joined Elite Editor Academy, charged $3,000 per video, got picked up by Jeremy Ethier, and took his income to $9,100. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 editing decisions he changed, plus the tiny negotiation move that got him inbound work. If you want the full training behind those decisions on music, story, and how to stop feeling replaceable, Elite Editor Academy is open right now. You get the private community, payment plans, access to job opportunities, and there's a 7-day money-back guarantee if it's not for you. Links in the description. What did editing look like before you joined?
I felt like I didn't know what I was doing when it came to the music and a little bit of the storytelling and a little bit of the VFX. Mostly the music, I would say. I felt like I didn't really know what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know how to make it like impactful. I didn't know like how much time I should spend. The biggest thing is I was really worried that Steve would end up firing me. I mean, he was always happy with like my work and everything, but if anyone's seen Steve's videos, it's always just one camera angle, images and text. They're not really super heavy on the editing, and I didn't use After Effects or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, I knew that was going to be difficult to make it look good and smooth and everything. So I was really worried about it because I just didn't have a lot of experience doing that much complicated stuff, or maybe he would find someone cheaper that he would rather work with. I also was like, I wanted to reach out to other channels and stuff and try to edit for them and maybe do some test edits and that kind of thing, but I felt like I wasn't ready to do that.
Okay, sweet. And then how do you think about yourself as an editor now compared to before?
A lot more confident for sure. I feel like I can definitely get the best out of the footage, and I know what I'm doing, so I don't really want to work on projects if the people don't know what they're doing.
Dude, you said it.
Like if I'm going to edit something, I want it to have like potential to do really well, you know?
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good feeling. It kind of like builds a lot of confidence to say like, oh, we should do it like this. The workflow should be like set up like this.
It's very good. And one of the things that always slightly bothered me was that editing courses in the past, the project that they were working on was clearly just this test project that nothing was ever going to be done with. I want to know your opinion on the setup that you got when you joined the program, where it's like a real deadline, real client, real footage. Were there any moments seeing me cut like a viral video that sort of surprised you on what you thought it would look like?
First was just kind of the structure of how you go about it. So like you do the rough cut first, and then the music, and then the VFX.
Yeah.
I also was like, got to the point maybe you were cutting under like a lot of time pressure and it was getting to the end, especially with like real clients and real videos and real deadlines. It's like you don't necessarily have time to like perfectly analyze every little clip. You were kind of like cutting on instinct almost. I think that's what you said in the video. And I guess what the click was how you would go about like cutting repetition, especially if you have on camera like a conversation between two people, you realize that they're repeating themselves a lot. Cut and shift around like literally individual words sometimes. Covering up with B-roll and that kind of thing can make it like easier to watch.
That's crazy.
A big one was with the music.
Yeah.
Almost treating the music as more of long sound effects. So there's one thing happening that's one song, and then as soon as the vibe shifts to something else, like what's literally happening is a new song basically.
When the idea changes, song changes as well.
And you wouldn't necessarily go through like 100 different songs to find one that worked. It's like if you found one within like the first 3 or 4 that you tried, it fits, and you just add it in and move on to the next, because there's going to be a lot of songs in the video, so you can't be spending days agonizing over every single one.
Wow.
One thing that kind of clicked also was a bunch of tips on making VFX better. It was like making the emojis all like the Apple emojis like the same style. Those kind of tips are like super helpful.
He's giving away the sauce. No,
yeah, for real.
That's the exact kind of decision that makes your edits feel expensive. If you want a quick win first, my free 12 viral editing secrets guide is linked below. And if you want the full training Andrew used, Elite Editor Academy is linked right above it. You were the first person to actually join.
Oh yeah.
But what made you decide to join?
I knew you edited for Will, and the work y'all did is kind of like the gold standard of like good editing, because it's like different camera angles, like lots of different shots, different locations, the most creative version of fitness YouTube videos. So I saw you were putting out a course. I'm like, well, this is the guy I want to learn from.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I was waiting for it to come out, so that was kind of my main thing. Yeah, I mean, I was ready to do it.
The most impressive about what you did is that you just came in, went through the program, took the raw footage, created a test project, sent it to me. I was impressed.
I think it is really helpful to be able to kind of see the whole production process from just like how you get the raw footage to like the final video being completely edited.
Yep.
Because there's just so many like little details that you just don't know, or maybe aren't confident in doing what you think is best. And so you kind of see someone else do it. This is like literally how it's done and how it's like working at a high level.
That's a nice bonus. You don't usually see that.
Yeah. And then I showed you the test edit from the sample footage, and you said like it was good. And I was like, wow, that's great. If he thinks it's good, I gotta be doing something right, I suppose.
No, you're good.
So
yeah.
I was actually right around the time I was coming up on like another year working for Steve. So it was time to like renegotiate our contract. And I pushed for more money than I otherwise would have. I pushed for like a $500 raise. I also pushed for like having my name in the description. And that was an idea I definitely learned from the course.
Well done, man.
I was planning to maybe use that as like a negotiation tool. If he didn't go for the $500 raise, I'd be like, okay, maybe like less of a raise, but put my name in the description. But it was Steve, he didn't really have any problem with it. And, I just kind of asked like, would it be okay to have a little credit in the description where it says like edited by editor Andrew. And that was great, because then the next couple of videos after my name was in the description, that's when Jeremy reached out to me.
Okay, cool. So then Jeremy Ethier reaches out. He has like 7 million subscribers now, I think.
Yeah, he was asking about what I thought I was good at with editing and that kind of thing. And I was able to show him like the test edit I did from the footage in your course as like a sort of demo of like what I think I'm good at. And like, here's an example.
Nice.
I also was like busy at the time. I just said like right off the bat, like, yeah, it's going to be 3,000 a video. He was like, oh, that works with my budget. And I was like, really? Okay. They always seem to come like all at once. It'll be like,
yeah, it's always the worst time. You're like fully booked and they're like, hey man, I have this $40 million idea. And it's like,
yeah, maybe a bit of a, aggressive first message, I guess.
No, dude, it was perfect. No, it was literally perfect.
And then I said like we could do like a paid test edit for like, I think it was $200, and he seemed fine with that. A lot of editors will like go into a test edit and like want to show off. So they'll kind of go overboard on like VFX and like being really flashy and doing a lot of like kind of random stuff like that. And they'll kind of lose sight of putting the audience first and like the actual story of the video first. So when I did that first test edit for him, I was definitely conscious of that, of trying to make sure like putting it all together in a way that I thought would be really satisfying. The story and the music was really good. I did the paid test edit and it went really well. And then we just ended up doing a full video that was like the rest of that test edit basically. And then another 2 videos after that.
Jeez.
And then like just crossed 100 million views across like all the videos I've edited. And I've been editing for about 3 years now, mostly with the Vigorous Steve YouTube channel, or Jeremy Ether. And now I'm editing for Will Tennyson.
Did you notice that the inverse effect, where when it started, you were just desperately trying to find anything. But then once you get over that hill, now it's like you're having to say no a lot more.
Yeah, no, I've definitely noticed that. Right now, at least I feel like I don't want to take on more than like 3 clients at a time, just because I want to do a good job. And you only need like 2 channels who want to work with you in like a serious capacity, and you're making like pretty much a good income for a video editor, I'd say.
So what did you start at? You were at 5,000. You went from what number to what?
So with Steve, the first year I started with him, it was 5,000 a month. And then after negotiating for raises and stuff, and then adding Jeremy on top of that and the rough cuts for Will, it was 9,100. And that was pretty much like the max workload I could probably take on.
Nice, man.
Yeah. And I definitely don't think it's like impossible to find jobs, because there's definitely a lot of channels that need editors. I think it's good to try to find a channel that is wanting to pay you on like a monthly retainer basis. And I think you can use kind of like other smaller jobs as like great opportunities to kind of like build a portfolio to use like when you're applying to like a more serious kind of like retainer.
Oh yeah, that's a huge one. It's like there's so many editing job posts that people just go like, oh, I'm sure that 1,000 people applied for that. And they're like, I'm not going to do it. When in reality, it's just like 2 dudes that are just okay. and you could have had a chance.
Yeah.
There's so many times where somebody will join the program, and once I just see like how your editing is and what you've applied and that sort of thing, it's like there's an abundance of creators reaching out.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just hog them to myself. It's like I want to like I can't work with 10 people a week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's really great. And then the fact that you had access to your community, so we can literally ask you questions if we want.
Yeah.
And having access to the footage you have.
Dude.
And especially in terms of like what you talk about charging in the course, you can pretty much make up the cost of the course with like one edit, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Go check out Andrew's channel. It's Editor Andrew on YouTube.
Oh, thanks.
Now, if you want the full training Andrew used to charge $1,000 to $3,000 per edit, the Elite Editor Academy link is in the description. And before you go, click the video on screen because it shows the one thing creators actually judge you on. And once you fix it, charging over $1,000 stops feeling crazy.